Gangster Bet is Icon's next generation NFT collectibles of 5,555 gangsters and detectives, with changeable names and stats. Holders of Gangster Bet NFTs receive daily distributions of GBet tokens. GBet can be used to upgrade their NFT skills and stats. The supply of GBet will decrease over time and will stop after 9 years. Holding Gangster Bet NFTs will have opportunities for future airdrops and will give you access to Gangster Bet's highly anticipated metaverse. Learn more at gangsterbet.io. Shout out to our sponsors at IconBet. Open source, decentralized gaming, no deposits, play straight from your wallet. IconBet, made by the players, for the players. Eye on Icon is proudly supported by Icon Nation and the Icon community.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the 100th episode of Eye on Icon. There you go, iconographer. Did I say that right? Have I nailed it? Is everyone proud? Is there cheering going on in the background? How are you today, man?
There should be party noises and balloons and confetti and all other stuff. We should have queued that up on the screen, but oh well.
Is that for me saying your name according to the way it should be said, or for the 100th episode?
As I've always held, there's no correct way. But in this case, we can for the 100th episode, we can make an exception and decide that was indeed the correct way. But also just for the 100th episode in general.
Okay, but someone's watching the charts, right? Because usually when I say it that way, yep, it looks like the markets are reversing. Well done. Great way to kick off the 100th episode.
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay, so first things first. If you noticed the intro, it was a little different at the start. That is thanks to Archer, who just this morning sent through something he'd been dabbling with, and it came through just in time. So I quickly edited it together to preview it on the 100th episode. So full shout out there. Thank you for doing that. He's in the chat right now. So yeah, really wanted to call that out. Thank you everyone for all the donations. I know it was very last minute. We're terrible at organizing stuff. Iconographer. There we go. I'm going to make an effort every time I say your name, man. I'm going to try. But we got there in the end, and it was amazing to just wake up to see all these donations come through. So everyone that's listening, 12, 15, it's climbing. Great to see. Please make sure you remind us that we need to do giveaways, because we weren't very successful at the Icon launch party, remembering to do all the giveaways. So look, what have we got planned today? I would love to say we have, everyone and anyone coming on the show. We don't. It's just a close, intimate. Hopefully Donnie should be on any moment as well, because he's been in the background consistently coordinating everything for us. So wanted to have him on the show. And we're just going to reflect on some of the stuff and share our views about Icon on a few topics, as you would on the 100th episode. And that's something I'm going to keep doing. And anyone out there listening, if you have some thoughts, or even if you want to jump on, just voice on the chat and I'll send you a link, and you can actually jump on and have a conversation and ask some questions, get on the show. So it's very much a community show. It's the 100th episode for the community, so why not have the community on here? And yes, we will remember to give stuff away. Oh, okay, Iconographer. I've done a lot of talking. Oh, crap. I screwed it up. Sorry. How long? 4 minutes, and I stuffed up your name. Sorry, everyone.
Well, Marcus is going to take now.
Oh, crap. It's reversing already. Iconographer. There we go. Fixed it.
Yeah. Well, I think we started... Did we start? I think it was right after the New Year last year, right? If I recall correctly.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we tried to do a news episode, pretty much, I mean, that's basically what we started with. Just kind of a news rundown. We tried to do one of those every single week. I think we probably got 90% of them. As we've mentioned time and time before, the time zone issues we run into create a lot of headaches and some scheduling issues and things like that. But nonetheless, that was more than made up for by, the countless interviews. Well, I guess you can count them, but the number of interviews that primarily Fez has conducted as well. So we got to 100, I think. I would say a lot quicker than I thought we would have when we first started. But certainly pretty cool that we've been able to talk about Icon for that long, and there's been enough stuff to talk about, and it's only gotten more and more difficult to compress everything into 1 hour.
Yep. Yep. So what you're saying is this live stream is going to go for another 4-hour marathon? Is that what we're aiming for?
Yeah, I don't know. At least this time you don't have to be up at 2 in the morning or whatever time it was for the Icon 2.0 live stream.
That's right. It is 10 a.m. So I am good, man. As long as the audience holds up, we can keep this going. And here we go. Donnie, welcome.
Thanks for having me. How's it going? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Yep.
Awesome. It's my first time with Iconographer. It's awesome. Nice to meet you. It's nice to hear your voice. It's good to see you guys.
Yeah, we're always talking on Telegram, doing a lot of planning. Donnie does a lot of the hard work for this as far as. So yeah, I think it was the first time we've actually appeared simultaneously on the same episode. I know you appeared on I think there was a Twitter Spaces you were on, I think, and then maybe another episode too. But I don't think I was on that one. So another momentous occasion.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, congratulations, guys, on the 100th episode. It's been amazing. Learned a lot from you guys. It's a big accomplishment. Yeah, I went from a Twitter space to now here on my YouTube debut with you guys. It's awesome.
Moving on up.
Are we a promotion? That's good. No, look, as I said, Donnie has been consistently in the background collating and doing putting together all the news, which is actually a lot of work, believe it or not, to go and run through Twitter and try and find every single post that for the week of news of all the protocols of what they've released. So yes, thank you, Donnie, for doing that. It's been fantastic.
Thanks for having me on the team. It's been a pleasure. I gotta say, thankfully, now we're on Discord, and that's made my life a lot easier. And just want to apologize to everyone out there. If I'm spamming your feeds with the latest Icon news segment or interview, gotta do it. We need the followers. You know what I mean? So, and we need the support from the community, and everyone's been super awesome as well. So it's awesome to have everyone in Discord now.
Yeah, look, honestly, first of all, if anyone has issues with the spamming, I'm going to be having private conversations. Spamming is the way we build, okay? So please let us spam. There's no other way to do it. But yes, look, last week, Donnie, when I saw the spam, I was so impressed. Oof, I even took the time out to thank you.
I appreciate. I mean, we're all growing, and it's what Icon has been nothing but a blessing at least in my opinion, because we supporting a blockchain project like Icon that was a bit segregated at the beginning, but now I can see firsthand the community coming together, and it makes me nothing but bullish, on the project and on the people I'm working with and you guys,
Yeah, agree. So, look, what we're going to do today is, as I said, if anyone wants to come up, Donnie Iconographer, I said that robotically, but we'll get there. Keep checking the comments if people want to come on to the show. I'll send through a link. But we thought we'll just keep it simple, and we're going to talk around 4 topics, which is, and I wrote some notes here. How did you find Icon? And I'm sure we all have a tale for that. Reflection on the past 4 years. Then we're going to get a little bit, what do I call it? In Australia, we say D&M, deep and meaningful, where we talk about the biggest disappointments that we've seen or experienced or something around Icon. And then we're also going to talk about our biggest surprises and things, well, what surprised us about Icon. And yeah, those are the 4 topics we're going to tackle in our 100th episode. And I think, guys, should we kick it off with the giveaway? I think we should. Yeah, otherwise we'll forget. Let's do it. What should we give away? Actually, you know what I'll do? On the chat, guys, the first giveaway. What's Silent? Are we debating how to say his name? Okay. So I made it a point that this was the first giveaway. If you weren't aware, this is a 12-year-old who creates these and puts them up. And as soon as we announced the 100th show, they were the first, him and his dad were the first to message saying they'd like to donate to the show. And unfortunately, we'd been very slack and he'd been hounding me a little bit, and I felt terrible because, of course, we want to give away. We accept all the donations, and also my son's been doing NFTs, so I totally get the excitement around it. So, see, Shmoo Pig, there you go. So let's give this away. What shall we do in terms of a giveaway? Donnie, iconographer, ideas? Putting you on the spot.
Well, I'll just pick a random person. I'll just close my eyes and I'll just like pick someone here. How about we just do that so you don't stress over it too much?
Well, before I want to see how engaged the community is. Okay, guys, you've got the link there. So I want to know the 2 handles that promote this 12-year-old creator. So you get both of them right in the chat, you win this NFT. Is there a delay? There seems to be a delay. People are excited.
So okay, while they're doing that, why don't we talk about how you guys met and how you guys come across this idea to start this podcast together? Because I still really don't know too much about that story. I want to, so please tell me and the rest of the audience,
Yeah. Iconographer, you want to kick it off?
The story kind of ends when I said yes, kind of to a certain extent. So I'll let. I mean, you're the one. It was your brainchild. I mean, you ultimately approached me with the idea, and so I'll let you start from your side of things.
Yep, cool. Okay, well, so the story goes. I obviously being a big fan in Ethereum and being a bag holder of Icon, and we'll get to that, how we found Icon. But in this instance, I was a bag holder. I was following Bankless and Into the Ether and those podcasts. And then obviously I started noticing there were DeFi protocols being built on Icon with Ohm, Balance. And having understood how Maker and everything worked, I got very excited about what was coming to Icon. I was like, it was very clear Icon was in the early phase of that. So I saw the opportunity, and as I started exploring and I saw actually research what coins I was holding instead of just holding the coin, what the coin and what was being built around it, I noticed there was just all this government and public blockchain building, and I thought, well, I couldn't find a lot of information about it, and in my head I was like, well, I used to follow Iconographer a fair bit. I mean, Iconographer a fair bit with all his writing. I loved reading his articles because they were so simple. He broke down concepts in a very simple way and related it to existing protocols on other chains. So it made a lot of sense to me. So when I saw all this happening, I was like, well, we could literally, there's an opening here for someone to cover the news and interviews and everything going on in Icon. So yeah, I just messaged him randomly, or were we chatting? I can't even remember, man. But yeah, I messaged and said I had this idea about a show and this is what we do. And I remember it was around December and I was so keen on it. And I was like, as soon as I kind of twisted his arm and he was like, yeah, sounds good, let's do it. I'm like, well, I'm ready tomorrow, are you? And obviously it was Christmas time and stuff. He was like, man, I'm away, I'm in the mountains, we can't do this just yet. I'm like, right. I didn't want to scare him off, so obviously I backed off. And yeah, that's how it came together from my end. And Iconographer was really excited. He went to the drawing board and came up with the name Iron Icon. And yeah, we went. That's how it started.
Yeah, I remember I think we were pretty meticulous about having like an outline with notes and bullet points. It was almost like to a certain extent, like in terms of, I think in some cases we even like word for word. So I imagine if you go back, I haven't done this and I don't plan to, but I imagine if you go back and listen to the first episode, it's very, I imagine it's like kind of, I would say robotic, but certainly a little less free will than it ended up being. And I think over time, as we just got better and better and more comfortable, like kind of just talking off the top of our head, as long as we had some baseline familiarity with the topics, we were pretty much good to go. So I mean, by now it's just like we just have kind of bullet, this topic. Maybe we'll have one or two bullet points or a couple facts or something like that. But over, you do this, between 50 and 100 times, it starts to get a little bit easier, and you have to. It starts becoming a little more natural. But yeah, it is funny to see how much, especially because getting on recording, you certainly don't want to say anything dumb or messed up. I think we had a lot more edits that time too. because
insane.
I think a lot of times I would, I'd start going on a rant and then I'd lose my track and say, well, that became completely incomprehensible. So there's probably some outtakes that hopefully are deleted of me going on a, not a rant, but certainly a deep dive on something and then losing my thought and having to restart it via edit. So, but I don't think we've done an edit like that in a long time. So again, just goes to show how far we've come along.
You know what? I actually forgot that. That was one of the things. I think I was so, because obviously I was reading all these articles. I'd never done anything like this before. I was doing a bit of video content. That's right. That's how me and Icongrapher got talking, because I was doing those tutorials in the early days as well, and me and Icongrapher were chatting in the background, and I remember I was so worried about him saying no that I presented him with a 6-episode plan on exactly how we'll tackle what with what we'll talk about: first episode, second episode, third episode. I think we looked at that document once and never looked at it again. But this is how worried I was. But I just wanted to make sure we could get this show on the road. So yeah, but yeah, early days the edits were. I'd spend a lot of time editing. Now I must confess I literally we record the episode in one take. I slap the intro and outro, export it, and upload it. I don't even go through the episode to see what was said or were there any mistakes. Okay, well, let's quickly pause and the winners. So scrolling through the list. Give me a sec. I'll come back to the winners. Donnie, you know what I'm interested in knowing? How did you stumble on the show?
Oh, that was that's a good story. I think I was really excited about Balanced, and then I was in the Balanced chat room, and I hit up Scott, and I was like, "Hey, you should do a clubhouse," not knowing about Twitter Spaces just yet. And he's like, "Yeah, you should put it together." And I'm like, "Okay, well," I stuck my foot in my mouth, so I can't back out now. I said I wanted to be involved. I can't chicken out now. You were doing all those the crypto tutorials. I was like, let me hit up Fez, whatever. I'll DM him. I'll slide in his DMs and see if he wants to put this together. I was ready to hand it off to Fez, and then Fez was like, yeah, let's do it, and we had to put it together. That was the first time organizing an event like that. Scott agreed to do it, and then I guess we had our first clubhouse, and then we had a few Twitter Spaces, and then from there, Fez approached me to see if I wanted help with the news, and I was on board. And it was one of the. I was happy to do so. But yeah, that's how I found Ion Icon. But before I joined, I was listening to a lot of your podcasts previously. It was my way of staying in tune with all the news on Icon. And during that time, I think there were very few. And Corey, shout out to Corey. He was doing a lot of everything he could do, and Brian putting things together. But in my opinion, your podcast, the Ion Icon podcast, was the first legit one for me, where I enjoyed it, and it was a lot of alpha being dropped on there. And yeah, it was fun to join. That the rest is history.
Oh, good. No, I remember that day well. It was hilarious. You came to me. I was like, no, Scott told you to do it. It's all yours. That was a good day. Hey, one other thing quickly with the comp, guys. No one's got this right yet. I've just gone through the list. So again, the link that I provided, there's 2 handles that promote it. One is the obvious one. It's in the actual title, and it's not me. This is so if you click on it, you'll see it's Valor Punk. And then there's another one. And to give you a bit of a hint, sorry. Is this not right? No, it isn't, man. Sorry. It's no. Oh, have I shared the wrong link? I've shared the right link, haven't I? Oh, where are we? I even closed most of my tabs so that I don't have tab. That's the link to the actual NFT. So the second hint, the second handle that promotes it has every day been posting updates around day number something, asking Coinbase to not Coinbase. Is it Coinbase? Yeah, Coinbase to list.
Coinbase to list Icon. Yeah.
Yes. So they're the biggest hints, guys. One of them is in the actual link, and the other one is the dad who regularly promotes it. So, okay. I feel, Donnie, you said you tell Iconographer. Oh, there you go. Ben, You could have. You needed to win this, didn't you? I knew you were eyeing that one. Cool. Okay, so it is Ben. You have won it. I hope you don't mind. Ah, damn it. Actually, I'm building it. There's a reason why I'm using your name. Thank you, Ben. That's the first one I've seen that has guessed it. So, Donnie, just make note of that. Ben, could you please post your wallet address, and we will get that out to you after the show. Iconographer. Damn it. See, I just like saying it my way. What's your side of the story? So you know what I'm interested in hearing. I've never asked you this. So here I was harassing you. It was almost borderline harassment. What was going on on your side of things when I was hounding you about this show?
I mean, I don't remember a whole lot of the details. I do remember you kind of, like, I think, I was I'd seen you kind of pop up, and there was some, it was like, I don't know if it was some of your videos or something like that, but it wasn't like you were coming as a complete stranger or something like that. So I was a little bit, I just figured, okay, here's another, it was I figured it'd be an obligation to take on. So it was just a matter of deciding whether or not I wanted to take on that obligation, because obviously there's nothing lamer than like doing 5 episodes of something and then getting tired of it and moving on. That was my main apprehension, was just like, okay, am I able to commit to doing at least an hour a week of this? And so once I decided, and here we are a year later. So obviously it was a good decision. But in terms of the, I can't remember much more beyond that, as far as my thought process and everything like that. I don't think we knew each other too well either, so it was kind of like, I wasn't sure if how, if it was just an idea you had randomly, and also how committed you were too. So that was like the first thing I thought about, but I figured pretty quickly that it was at least worth giving a shot to.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Yes, I did stick around. Cool. So I think let's now talk about. I'm just checking at the community, guys. If anyone wants to come on, hands up. I can see David. What is it, David? Like 1 a.m. for you, Digital Dave. I can feel him wanting to come on the show in his sleep, not realizing he's done it. Shall we jump to reflections on the past 4 years? So I feel. Oh no, we actually haven't spoken about how did you find Icon. So let's pause on Icon. We've established that, but I think this is quite good. Iconographer. How did you get into Icon? Like, what was it? ICO at the ICO? What made you feel, you wanted to get involved in this blockchain?
So I bought my first crypto in, I believe, May of 2017. I bought some Ethereum, which was good timing on my part. I mean, it wasn't as like January or February, or obviously any time before that, but it was still kind of before things really took off. Didn't know a whole lot about it. My buddy said, "Hey, get this Coinbase app, and you can," that's how I got on. And of course, like so many other people, as soon as you learn about one, you start learning about others, and all of a sudden you're like, looking at things on Binance. And then I was, I got a lot of good information, at least for those early days. Most of my information from Reddit, which was, not the most optimal place to get quote unquote investment ideas and things like that. But I don't remember exactly how it played out, but Icon was obviously kind of a very, had a lot of hype behind it, especially on Reddit. And at the time, I didn't feel like it was a lot of hype behind it, but obviously a lot of people, when they reference Icon, a few years later, especially if those who haven't, who just kind of followed it at the time, who didn't necessarily become investors, they could just kind of mention about how hyped it was back in the day. So I think that hype, kind of got on my radar. And then I think I started buying at like $1 or $2. So I didn't buy it at ICO. I bought on, I think, on Binance. And then obviously, I think I bought a little more on the way up. And then, obviously got pretty excited when it hit $13 and was reading articles about how 20 was the next stop and how it could be $100, all that other good stuff. And Icon wasn't my only thing. I had some other stuff. I bought some other stuff too. I think it's at some point I probably owned all the top 10 token. I owned Ripple at one point. I owned stellar at one point. And so, but ultimately over the course of the last 4 years, ICX is the only one I've consistently held. Those other ones I sold probably either during the bull run to try to, latch onto another one or something like that. And obviously, the bull run happened and then it crashed. And I don't think, I certainly didn't sell at the top because I didn't have any sense at all that was the top at the time. There was a crash in like September, and that's when the first like buy the dip meme really kind of hit me. And so I assumed that, when January and February came and it started going down, it was just another dip. So I started loaning up more and stuff like that. And obviously it didn't turn out great. I didn't I was still net positive on funds, because I unfortunately bought in relatively early, so it's not like I lost money necessarily, but I certainly didn't cash out when I potentially could have, which would have been like middle of January or whatever it was. But I mean, there were a lot of lessons learned during that process. Certainly some expensive ones, plenty of expensive lessons learned during the bear market also. That I think obviously it's would have been nice if they did happen, but looking back, you learn a lot, and both in terms of like how markets work, and how psychology works, and how your own like emotional state is, and things like that. But I looked at fundamentals and I said, okay, it's still ultimately a good project. Obviously, the price went down, but to evaluate a project just based on price is kind of dumb. I at least knew that. So as it went down more, I kept buying more and more. I thought okay, no way it can go below $4, and obviously it did. So I can keep going on over the course of 4 years, but I think we'll shift to that topic. But I guess that's a kind of a long version of my involvement.
Tell us all your buys. 8, 7, 6. That's literally how I bought in every time. But yeah, no, cool. No, that's good to hear. Donnie, what about you?
Oh man, yeah, I could tell you about all the other cryptos that I bought that I'm like embarrassed to even mention. But yeah, I got in an icon. Like some YouTuber was shilling it, and I heard it like in several different places. And I looked into it, and I think icon at the time retraced to about $1. And so I thought I was getting in on a steal. We're gonna hyperconnect the world, so let's get in on this. A healthy retracement. Put your moon suit on. Let's go to the moon. And yeah, we went to the more to the basement than the moon at the time, but it was all right. I was like, I got started following the community, and rode it all the way down to 10 cents, loaded up more there, and kept that into my bag ever since. But I enjoyed the ethos behind Icon. I like the interoperability. I like the not this segregated community versus community. My coin is better than yours. I was like, we can make it together. And so at the time, Icon was the only real one with the vision of interoperability, and by hyperconnecting everyone. And I was like, I really like this. I feel like this is a safe bet on the entire space. And so while I had to consolidate my bags, after they were down 90%, Icon was the one that I just kept staking and holding on to. And I was like, smart money's going to eventually find this, and I just stuck it through. And yeah, I started in 2017, right before the big run up. I thought I was the smartest trader in the world at the time, and then life taught me a hard lesson. Again, didn't sell as much as I should have, but then I took the time to learn. And so it's 2017 scarred a lot of people, and it took me a while to get into NFTs as well because of 2017. But now that I'm trying to understand them, it's a little easier to get involved. But yeah, 2017, 2018, I was like, no more ICOs for me, no more getting rich quick. And after a lot of consolidation, it was just like, all right, I'm gonna stick with Icon and a few other blue chips. And Icon was my moon bag, while everything else was a little on the safer side.
Yep. So just before I tell my tale and what a tale it is, no, I was going to talk it up, but I've put in the next link, everyone. So that's the next giveaway we have, which is the QB's gift box. I'm pretty sure, I hope that's how it's said. Don't laugh at me. Now I'm paranoid about every word I say. Thank you, iconographer. and I blame Jack who constantly brings it to my attention. But no, I love it. It's good banter. so this is the next one. If what I was hoping to do is, here you go. I'm going to use everyone listening as shillers. So if everyone can share that as a giveaway and tweet it out and tag Ion Icon, I will then pick the best shill and award you this NFT. There we go. Boom. Look, Luke's right in there. So there we go. Make sure you tag Ion Icon when you're shilling it so that I know and I can go through the list and award you this NFT. So my story now, how I discovered Icon. I'm going to tell everyone my story of how I got into crypto. So I actually got told about Bitcoin and stuff by my cousin, who at the time he was like 15. This was back then. And I laughed him off. I was like, haha, whatever. And at the time, it had gone from something to 300. I was like, well, we missed it. What's the point of this? And I'm sure everyone has a story like that. But later on, a few years later, when it hit 900 or before in 2016, it was actually a lot higher. Anyway, he talked to me about it. He was buying miners. He was doing all this crazy stuff. And I was like, oh, well, let me look into this. And I learned a little bit about blockchain. And full disclosure, so when I learned at the start, my understanding of it was, because it's blockchain, it's not traceable. I had this was my initial interpretation of it. So off that, I was like, well, I thought, well, how could this technology be replicated? And data storage, for some reason, came into my mind. It was data storage that got me interested. And the first project I found that was doing stuff around it was Cycoin. Now, this is why you often see me shilling in my private handle, Cycoin, because that was the first coin I ever bought, because I actually read up about the tech and I said, this makes perfect sense. And I can't believe they're doing it. Basically, Uber off the taxi service is Cycoin, and they're building so much more. But I bought a bag then. It hasn't gone up in value. It stayed the same pretty much. So I haven't won or lost. But as then I started to jump into crypto, I bought just before the boom. So I put in a very little amount of money, and within 7 months, it had turned into a lot of money. And I was sitting there quite proud. And at this point, not heard of market cycles, nothing. I knew nothing. So to me, I was like iconographer. I was reading these things going, $100 inbound. I'm like, yes, I've made it. No more. Literally almost ready to hand in my resignation at work. And on the side, then the same cousin of mine actually told me about Icon. And he'd been pretty bang on the money. He'd been telling me about coins, and I'd buy it and they would go up 100%. So I didn't even think twice. I didn't even flinch. I bought in at $2 something, and I rode it all the way up to 13. And of course, on the way up, I thought it could never slow down. So I bought some at 5, I bought some at 8, I bought some at 9, I bought even more at 13. I was like, this is it, made it. Yeah, and that's my story. And after that, it started going down, and I kept buying all the way down. And whatever BTC I had, I sold it and bought a ICX with it. So I'm one of those guys. But as then I suffered the market cycle lesson, I started to learn how to trade, and I actually learned about market cycles and things like that. And I shifted strategies. I held on to my ICX bag and then realized that the mistake I made was letting go of my Ethereum and Bitcoin. So that's where then I started to focus on those things. I acquired that and spent a lot of time learning about Ethereum and DeFi and things like that. And that's how I kicked off the channel. And then I switched focus to Icon once I got a bit of inspiration from Bankless and things. And that's how that tail intertwines. And that's how I got into Icon. I held on. And I have a bit more of a personal tale around Icon that we'll share in a few other topics that we're going to discuss. But that's a bit of my story.
That's awesome, man. I think for the next giveaway, whoever can guess my most embarrassing crypto that I've ever held, it's bad. It's really bad. It's I look at it and I'm like, what was I thinking? The tokenomics are close to Shiba Inu, so I bought $1 billion for $20. And I was like, I'm going to the moon.
Oh, I need someone to guess it. So there we go. I need someone to keep taking stabs at this. I really want to know what this is. I was going to say EOS, but Litecoin.
Oh man, Litecoin was good to me. I can't even lie.
What would you say, iconographer?
Substratum. That was a Brian.
Yes,
Brian will get that one. I don't know if he's listening, but he single-handedly brought Substratum down. If you ask the right people.
Wow.
Yes, I've heard this tale as well.
Wasn't the founder of Substratum like day trading the last bit of money to try to save the like project at the end or something like that?
Yeah, basically it was like the ICO money, like the treasury or something like that. Yeah.
Wow, it's crazy.
Anyway, should we move on to the next topic?
Yes. There's guests going left, right, and center, so make sure you're keeping track of that, Donnie. Okay, so Iconographer, you're very keen to. I'm just going back to the old way. Okay, I can't do it anymore. It's too much. I've seen the markets turn around and go down every time I change it up. So, reflections on the past 4 years. So you've been involved from the start. We've shared similar stories where we kept buying on the way up, on the way down. What are your reflections of the past 4 years when it comes to Icon?
Well, I mean, I think part of this is Icon. I think part of it is the overall crypto industry as a whole. You know, I think what a lot of people got fixated on in 2017 was this idea of partnerships. And I think, whenever I'd say the number one driving force behind any price action at the time was essentially a new project would announce a new partnership and like it would instantly generate, it's not like this only happened in 2017. We've seen it, if a good partnership gets announced even during the bear market, it would sometimes generate some price action and things like that too, which makes sense. But it was like a really powerful force that would work in 2017. It wouldn't be like a 30% pump and then like a 40% pump the next day, and it was a sustainable thing. And that's just the nature of the market at the time. But I think ultimately what happened, I think everyone got really fixated on partnerships. And I think a lot of the enterprises and companies and governments and everything like that signed these partner agreements was pretty bullish on crypto at the time. And I think ultimately what happens is like a partnership at the end of the day, especially in the terms of crypto, is basically like an agreement to try to find a way to work together, right? And so it wasn't, I think a lot of people saw it as a guarantee of like, oh, they signed a partnership with X, therefore X is going to use this blockchain in 6 months or whatever it was supposed to be. And so ultimately, I think part of it was the fact that a lot of it was so experimental that a lot of these like companies and governments, they're like, okay, we'll like give this a shot and we're kind of interested in this, so we'll sign an agreement with this project in order to try to try to figure out a use case or something like that. But again, it wasn't super fun. And I think that's what happened a lot with ICX. And it's not that a chunk of these partnerships did come to fruition via MyID, and they are actually using Icon. But it was just the amount of hype that the partnership kind of narrative created around a lot of these projects was mega significant, and it created a lot of expectations. At the end of the day, I think a lot of these partnerships were like, they looked at it, they tried to find a use case, and they kind of said, "Oh, this might work, but we're hesitant to dive into this new technology already." Obviously there was a lot of enthusiasm that left the crypto industry too, and primarily that was from kind of retail traders and things like that. But it's not shocking that it would also be from these people who signed partnerships. And maybe when the market crashed, they kind of said, "Oh, maybe the blockchain stuff's a fad," or whatever it might be. So it was just something that created a lot of global adoption and use case like right around the corner, when it was much more of a discovery period for both the space and the potential enterprises that were open-minded about potentially getting into it. So again, I think ICX is a good example of this because they really did have so many, but it's something I've noticed across the whole space of like a lot of these partnerships really never came to fruition, both in terms of just literally never having it happened, and if they did happen, it was kind of in a by the time it actually did, again, we have MyID working, but it was so beyond. It took so long. It took like 2 years for that to get going, and I think again, people's expectations were just like, oh, this bank is using this chain, it's gonna they're gonna launch next month or something like that. But obviously, that just wasn't the case.
You know what? You're so spot on. Like, that has been a big thing. In fact, it's part of the tale I was going to tell, Iconographer. There you go. See, now it's throwing me off. It's back to the usual. So, um, yeah, you're right. See, my original pitch to my story of how I got into crypto when I heard of Icon was we heard this tale, the Ethereum killer, etc. I didn't buy into all of that. What I got told was there is a team of 100 people in a corporate company that is behind this project, and they have got these corporate partnerships lined up, and they're already building out things that you cannot imagine it's happening. Icon, this is what's happening there. This is what got me interested. This is what made me throw my money at it. So I find what you've just said so true, because that's essentially early on what was happening, right? It was all these partnerships left, right, and center. um, but as time has gone on, it hasn't transpired, turned out that way. I think that's where we'll get into our biggest disappointments, but that was definitely a selling point, a buying point for me personally, why I invested in the project.
Yeah, same here. I was just like, when you said that, I was like, you know, enterprise adoption is where you need to be. That's where I thought to myself. I was like, we're gonna go here, and but at the time, I really didn't understand decentralization or like how adoption took place. So I just felt like, this is the more, one of the more professional blockchains out there. So it was like that's why I was attracted to Icon then. It's still one of the reasons I'm attracted to it now, and yeah, I totally understand for sure.
Yep. Cool. So my look, the other thing that I think Iconographer you touched on as well is, so when I reflect, I think the stigma that has now just come and attached to Icon is missed dates, timelines, things like that, which I get. I just think as a whole in the crypto industry, there's this everything has to happen every day. There has to be some kind of thing happening, otherwise you're not successful. um, I get that vibe a lot, and I don't necessarily agree with it. I think as I've spent time in the space and actually talking to builders, you know, things take time. That said, I'm not creating excuses for Icon. I think a lot have a lot could be done to make things more transparent. See, the perception has always been good news gets fired out first. This partnership, this announcement, this that. But if something doesn't work out, it tends to kind of disappear or fade into the background without getting addressed. Um, and then this over time starts to come out, like, well, what happened to this, what happened to that? And I think Iconographer, to your point, yeah, the announcement is the exciting thing that happens, and it can fail. It doesn't matter, but if it fails, we should address it. So to me, when I look back, I feel Icon hasn't done the best of jobs highlighting things that haven't worked out, and it's okay for it not to work out. It's just we need to highlight it and then push forward. Otherwise, we have such a dedicated community, and they are holding on to this. Like, well, we were told about this project, we haven't heard any news. It may still be happening, guys, don't worry. But these are the kind of things that I feel, when change is afoot, it should be communicated, even if it's bad news. So to me, when I reflect on Icon, I feel, yes, it's been very announcement heavy, partnership heavy, good news heavy, but we haven't done much to tackle when things don't work out. So I really hope part of this we start to see a bit of change there. I think it just helps from a honesty perspective as well with the community. I've tend to notice with the Icon community, the diehard fans, which is everyone kind of listening, today. If as long as new points have been communicated, everyone just gets behind it. Like, even if it's bad news, don't care. Thank you for telling us. Let's go. What's the plan? And it's bad news, and there's a plan of attack, not just this has gone crap and nothing after that. No, here's the steps we're going to take to fix it, etc., etc. And the community just rallies around it. So yeah. Anyway, that's my takeaway. Before we move on to the next topic, I know, Ben, don't worry, I'm going to have you on soon. We've got Elise from marketing who'll jump on as well to say hi to everyone. And we've done the giveaway. So did we call that out? No, I don't think so. Donnie, which coin do you want to, I want you to say it. Which coin did you buy a buttload of?
Oh man, I'm like turning beet red. So this coin was gonna revolutionize, the dental
Dentalton.
industry, and it was gonna change, the way, the world smiled, if you will. It was, I don't know, man. I was just trying to get as many coins for as as little bit as possible. I was trying to go to the moon, but yeah, it was. They had this whole dental network, and you can. I don't know. I just didn't understand why anyone would accept it, and I, again, didn't know the basics of like adoption. Like why would anyone accept a dental coin, or why would any dentist actually use it? It's if I was a dentist and you wanted to pay, like give me Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Icon, not Dentacoin. But I didn't know then. Whatever. Lesson learned. I'm at a much better place now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think a key signature of like the 2017 market was just, because I didn't notice this, I didn't really notice this most recent bull run, but basically like it peaked 2017, which is like every token was there to revolutionize like every single possible type of industry. It was like, here's one for like, there was like the poet coin or whatever, it was like po.et or something like that. It's like, oh, for content writers online, here's like a one to handle like shipping, like tracking. Here's one to like, it was basically like everything. We're going to put literally everything on the blockchain, and every like possible industry had its own coin. And obviously like Dentacoin is probably the best example of that. So it's not like it was like a unique, it wasn't something like uniquely, silly or stupid from your standpoint, because it was like, if you were investing in a crypto that wasn't the top 10 in 2017, you were probably investing in one of the ones that was supposed to specialize in revolutionizing whatever industry.
Oh, so true. You know what? Just looking at the chat, I don't know. Icongrapher, Donny, are you looking some classics? XVG. Oh, yes, I remember that. BitConnect. Oh, hey, that's still going. I got half my money in there. They're going to come good, guys. Don't worry. Farmer Trust. Oh my God, I still own that. In fact, when COVID pink punts, when COVID hit, that coin mooned 10,000%. I thought I was filthy rich. I couldn't find an exchange to offload it, and it's still sitting in my wallet.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I got Weed Coin. I got a Matrix AI. What else I got in there?
Hey, don't make fun of Weedcoin, okay? Because I made my first $700 on a pump and dump on Weedcoin. Full respect to that coin.
There you go.
Then I lost all that money on the rest of the pump and dumps.
You couldn't. I mean, don't forget about Tron. Tron was.
Hey, it's yes.
I rode Tron from 1 cent to I think 17 cents. I can't. I can't hate on Justin Sun that much.
I think I did the same thing.
Hey, you know what? Not just that. I mean, who of us still uses? Well, actually, it's changed a lot. But until recently, I was using Tron to move around UST to different exchanges to avoid the $25 fees. So it served its purpose. But yeah, it seems to be mass fallout. I don't know. Something seems to be going on in the Tron community. Everyone's been, even diehard builders have been moving away with issues. PooCoin. I didn't even know that was a coin. Did it hit $10? Wow. Shut up and take my money. Cool. USI Tech. Yes. These are great. Guys, I'm taking notes. I'm going to buy like $10 in all of these coins, and then we'll have a talk on the 200th episode how it fared. I think that would be a great experiment. I just need exchanges. Cool.
During that time, everything went to zero. For me to zero. I mean, the most painful one for me was what Lend. Right, I saw the vision for Lend, and I got it at 20 cents, and it went to 0.001. I was like, sold it for like $5, and then sure enough, 6 months later, it's like back at 1 cent, and then skyrockets to $2. I'm like, what is going on? The world hates me.
This is Lend that became Aave, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lend became Aave.
Yes, I remember that. I sold my bag just as it mooned. Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks for bringing back those memories, Donny. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
Let's cancel the rest of the show. Okay, guys, just a quick recap. Donny, you have got the winners. I just don't want to find ourselves in a state. We've got Archer, who's won the link I provided. You've got Ben's address. So we've done 3 giveaways so far, right? And I'm still checking the shillers. They're still shilling, doing a good job. I will award that at the end. I think let's jump on to our next topic. Ben, better get have you jump on soon. Next topic: biggest disappointment. Let's iconographer.
So I would say, so this one, I'm kind of answering this one and the other topic we talked about is kind of like the biggest surprise in kind of one, because they're kind of connected. So I hope that's okay. But there was a AMA that got done on Icon Reddit. I want to say 2019. I can't remember if that's AAD of the year and what part of the year was, but it was Ricky Dodds was, I don't know if he was the only one, but he was certainly part of it. But basically, someone had kind of asked a question relating to like, when's the enterprise adoption kind of happen, or is that still the goal and all that stuff? And his answer was kind of, at the time, it like hit me really hard and like because he basically said like, look, to try to do the enterprise adoption stuff, but there's a lot we can't control. The industry's changing, that we're having a harder time getting like folks on board than we thought we would. Again, this ties into what I was talking about, the partnerships also. And so basically, we're still trying to hit those home runs, but at the same time, we're also like looking for other ways to kind of utilize utilize the chain, or to create value for the chain. It was something along the lines of this. And I kind of read it as like, oh, so all the, I was still very much on the, okay, the partnerships are signed and they're like right a corner. Like I'm going to wake up one morning and, every bank in Korea is going to be using ICX or something like that. And so, I mean, at the time, again, it was like a very like almost frightening thing, because it felt like I was completely wrong. But in retrospect, it kind of played out pretty much exactly as he kind of said it. I mean, you got to remember at the time, like the whole kind of idea of like a layer 1 blockchain didn't really, it's not that it didn't exist, it just wasn't a concept that was kind of widely understood. And obviously Ethereum was kind of the playbook for this, but there wasn't a Solana, there wasn't like a Phantom, there wasn't a AVAX, there wasn't, Ethereum was really the only thing you kind of build things on, and all the other chains were seen as like, okay, this chain specializes in doing X, Y, or Z. It's not seen as a platform. And so that at that moment it was kind of a divergence away from, okay, we're still going to try to make the enterprise stuff that ICX was founded on work, because we think there's enough interest there. But at the same time, we recognize we have our own chain that decentralized applications can be built upon, to create other use cases for it. So it was good to like it was good to recognize that, on the part of Icon's part, to recognize that and kind of say, okay, how do we expand our capabilities in a way that further creates value and kind of hedges us a little bit, especially and extends our timeline. And so that's ultimately kind of what happened, right? Is in the background, they're still working on the enterprise stuff. We have my ID partners and everything like that. But at the same time, there was kind of a pivot towards all these DeFi applications, balanced. Scott and I think Dakey went with him to one of the Ether conferences and really got up to speed on DeFi and realized that was kind of the future. And it's really good that they did that, because it put us in a position where we're in the conversation as far as DeFi and stuff is concerned. So I think from my standpoint, that was kind of a pivot point, at least in my mind, of like Icon going from, okay, it's going to be this thing that hyperconnects the world, and like by the time it's 2020, into something where it's like, okay, they're still working on that, but there's broader possibilities here. And so the fact that they, for the most part, pursued both tracks, I think is good. Obviously, they're still working on the interoperability aspect of it, and that's always been kind of the overarching theme and narrative and goal. But it obviously didn't yield the enterprise adoption that I think all of our expectations were back in 2017 when we first bought in, especially on the timeline too.
Yeah. I'm just agreeing with everything you're saying, man, because I think the enterprise component is a huge piece. Well, as I said, that's basically why I threw my money at Icon. And I remember this AMA. I do recall it, and yeah, it's a very, very good take on it. Donnie, I'm going to go to you. But before we do that, so the next NFT giveaway is our very own Ion Icon Tamashi. And I put the link in the chat. Everyone's getting excited about it. So now this one is, we're going to give it away, and we're going to do it now. I was hoping to get, no, we'll do it now. So, and this one requires speed, and hopefully people know enough about the project. It's a simple question. You just got to get right. And then we're going to go to Donnie, and we're going to talk about, I know it's kind of odd that I'm throwing an exciting giveaway in the segment that is your biggest disappointment. Sorry about that, but I want to get through some of the stuff, the donations. So, okay, name one of the founders of Tamashi. First one to answer wins. Oh, come on. It shouldn't be taking this long. I've literally said names out loud 10 times. No, real name. I want a real name. Oh, I got it. Kevin won.
Wow, Kevin won a Tamashi. That's crazy.
Kevin, make sure you I told y'all it would be easy. That's the speed of it. Okay, guys, now everyone's guessing names, but too late. Kevin, make sure you pass to get your address out to Donnie, and we will dish this out at the end. Congrats. I'm doxing. Okay. Now back to the serious talk again. There we go. We got it out. Ben, you can't say your own name, damn it, man. Okay. Serious talk again. Donnie, your biggest disappointment.
I mean, well, besides price action, right? 'Cause I think everyone has stuck it through, and even the people in this chat room, like with us right now, we've all been extremely optimistic. There was a point, but regardless of all that, there was a point where things got really toxic on Twitter, and I remember it was bad. It was people were just tired of waiting, and all these projects were exploding around us. The grass is always greener. If the Icon team, just in generic, were just saying, hey, this is not working, we're gonna pivot, and we're gonna need you to be more patient, and just explain it a little bit in those terms, I would have been totally okay with it. I think it was what I was feeling was a lack of communication, and it's just I had to put the pieces together, and I had to join a Ion Icon team, and then put the news together for me to be even more comfortable keeping my money with Icon. I mean, opportunity cost is real, and I hate to say it, but that was the lack of communication from the top players in the game, if you will, in the project, was my biggest disappointment. That being said, we are we're in a way different place now, and there is communication. You see men on Twitter responding, talking, and I think the community is in a much better place now because they've responded to that. Yeah, so that's basically it. And other than that, I mean, there's nothing really negative. I mean, I speak to the community here and there, and when I'm trying to get information or alpha, and I've not met nicer people. Everyone here has been awesome. There's rarely toxicity coming from people actually believe in the project, and it only really comes from people looking to make a quick buck. So the community keeps me around, and all the great projects coming out are are going to make for a very exciting time.
Yeah. Yes. So for me, I agree. I can say price, but in all honesty, I've made peace with price for the moment. Um, I, I've seen a few comments, and I stand by. You kind of got a sense of what I've been disappointed about is that transparency aspect. That's a big thing for me. Personally, I don't care whatever it is as long as there's communication. And I can see a few comments, communication, Min communicating. Iconographer, you said something about Ricky. I recall when I really took a pivot and focused in on Icon, actually cared. And one of the things I remember, this was when I was talking to you in the background for Iron Icon. And I recall Ricky putting a comment in the forums saying, "New year, new drive, AMAs every month." Like, it was just out of the blue, but it came across that they've heard the community from the lack of communication perspective, and they've come together and they've gone, "Yep, we're going to address this. AMAs, this." I was like, "Cool." Months passed, 1 month passed, 2 months passed, nothing yet. Then I started asking, "Hey, you mentioned, yep, it's coming. We're trying to get," and nothing really came off it. And that kind of started grinding my gears as well. But I think one thing as well, then I come back to it is some people don't like, say, Ricky, for example. I actually do know for a fact he's quite involved in the background, on hands on, and I can say this a bit openly, but I have had few comms dealing with different things. He's not been on Twitter because probably doesn't people may not enjoy it. I know for blockchain and Iconus is a big deal. It's a big deal for me as well. I always make that we need to be on Twitter more, but it's not that he's not doing things. It's probably he doesn't want to be a forward-facing man, maybe. But this aspect disappointed me a lot. Like when something was said and it wasn't acted on, it kind of had me rethinking. However, now I'm going to intertwine my story a little bit because this section is about disappointments, but um, we've seen community members come and go, and I'll call a community member that was I used to talk to a lot, and I still do. Tony, he's moved. He's still invested in Icon, but probably isn't as vocal. But in our conversations with Tony, we used to talk, and he used to ask me, "Well, why are you in it? Why are you invested in this?" And for me, Icon became about, yes, I wanted to everyone wants it to moon, of course, but um, to this day, I always say this to anyone that asks me. I feel personally I can make a difference. I have seen as well that they do have the talent and skill set. And I can see Elise from marketing has jumped on in the background, but I'm going to finish my train of thought. And I'm actually speaking quite honestly over here. So for me, it was more, I feel communities really rallied behind personally stuff I've done. And I've really appreciated that. I felt I was getting in with the foundation in the right way, where they were taking on my feedback or feedback the community was giving to me. I could relay to the foundation, and they were listening. And overall, I was excited about the stuff they were building. Yes, it wasn't at the forefront. We weren't the ones creating the leading protocols when it came to DeFi and stuff. We were the chain that reflected and then built, and I actually like that. I like that idea of seeing what worked and then modeling dApps around it on Icon. I liked all these factors, and I could see that there was a competent core team of engineers in the background who actually build the tech um, uh, associated with Icon. So that's why I've kind of held on and stayed with Icon, because I really do believe there is innovation in the tech, and I believe with the right steps addressing some of the stuff people have said, communications, transparency, things like this. If we can get that into gear, I think that will rectify a lot. And one of the last things I will call out on this train of thought, and I know I've gone on a bit of a rant here, but I really don't feel people have understood the importance of Icon 2.0 versus the IISS 3.1 implementation. And I'll give a bit of an iconographer. You can relate to this. So before these changes, I would regularly ask, can someone summarize inflation for me? No one could actually factually tell me how inflation worked before this. It was very much dependent on a few factors, but what I'm getting at is now we know inflation is 4%. That's it. There's nothing to it. There's 4% inflation. Before this implementation, it could have spanned to 6 or much higher, based on the way the I-score system worked. But that itself to me was a huge issue. Like, and this is some of the stuff that has not come across as substantial changes that have been made, how big they are. And I believe in time we will start to see this. Now we're seeing the final update to Icon 2.2, which rectifies as part of the Icon 2.0 upgrade. But all this will kind of fix is fixing the overall issues that personally I've witnessed over time in the ecosystem. So a bit of a kind of a mass summary there. So that's why I'm here personally. That's what I still believe. And every day, more and more, I work with people across the Icon ecosystem and just see how good they are at what they do and how dedicated they are, that I haven't given up hope in any way. In fact, I'm seeing the opposite. I'm seeing more people get onboarded to help build out the ecosystem further. So I'll stop there. Bit of a rant. Apologies. Iconographer, see, you're meant to get in there and tell me to shut up. And Donnie. Okay. Shall we get Elise, and Brian's also come on? So let's get a bit of a panel together. Here we go. Why is there so much silence? Here we go. Hey, Elise. Hey, Brian.
Hello.
Hello.
What's up, Brian? What's up, Elise?
Just chilling. I had a surgery yesterday, so I'm kind of in pain, but I wanted to join a little.
Awesome. You all right? You gonna live?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, just something on my foot.
Gotcha.
Thanks, Brian, for jumping on.
I don't know if you heard. I mentioned how you single-handedly brought down Substratum. So I agree with
My brother texted me that, but I was doing something, so I was not listening to the episode during that part. But I'll go back.
Yes. Elise, can you hear us? No. Okay. Audio issues. Okay. So Brian, thanks for joining us. We've been going through some stuff, but do you want to throw you on the spot? Do you want to share a bit of your reflections on Icon, King? Because you also been with Rhizome, being one of the first P reps, and what's your take from some of the missteps and then where we're at now and how things are going?
Oh man, you're really putting me on the spot here. I did not prepare for this at all.
Okay. Don't. No. You know what? I am going to put you on the spot. Just a quick summary.
Yeah. I've been involved in Icon since 2017, 2018. And it's definitely grown a lot since then. And I think the way that the project has executed itself, maybe somewhat due to the enterprise connections in South Korea, that was kind of the main focus, I would say, for the first year or two. And then we shifted to more of a public chain focused thing. So I think that as a result of the initial focus, maybe the perspective on marketing was not the same as other blockchains. So I think that's why that Icon sometimes feels like it's in a vacuum, where it's like we're doing so much stuff. Why why is no one paying attention?
Mm.
And I think it has to do with the roots of the project somewhat. But now that it's been really with Icon 2.0 and the focus is clearly shifting to more of a public chain thing, and also connecting chains. I think the marketing will step up after the launch of BTP, and I think technically speaking, the transition to Java is very exciting. Oh, hey, Elise.
I thought you wanted me to put it on. Yeah, no. Oh, that's a good
That's what
point.
she said.
Oh, stop. I actually wanted to ask you about Java. That's a good point you raise. How in your eyes has it been from, we're transitioning basically languages? What are your thoughts around this? How have you felt the dev ecosystem has taken this change, and overall, how does it help the ecosystem?
Mm. Well, previously Icon was written in Python, and within the programming community, I guess, a lot of big companies run on Python, or at least they used to. So like YouTube, Instagram, I think Dropbox as well. When they first launched, a lot of their backend was Python based, and that's because Python is really easy to work with. Like you can go from nothing to something very quickly, but by doing so, you kind of give up certain things, like Python is not as fast, Python is not as safe. So for financial applications specifically, like it can be risky to use Python because if it's not like safe, which means that something might come in as a string, but your backend might not check if it's a string, and that can lead to like the decimal points being off, and stuff like that is very dangerous for stuff like this, right? So we didn't really have any of those issues in Python, I guess, because basically all of the smart contracts had to be looked at by the Icon Loop team before they could be deployed onto the mainnet. But that's not decentralized if they have to take a look at all of it. So with Java now, because it has built-in safety for the types and stuff, it's able to you can just push a contract up. And I think choosing Java was an interesting choice because it's a very popular language among people, especially if they work at like big banks. A lot of banking software is written with that in the back end. So there's a lot of devs out there who know Java, and Java is much more performant than Python. So I think the switch to Java was really great. Like, not only can it appeal to a lot more devs, I'm not aware of any other blockchain that has smart contracts written in Java. Most of the Ethereum stuff is written in its own language. So if you're a Java dev who wants to get involved in smart contracts, you kind of have an option. Like, do you learn the Ethereum way, or do you just leverage your existing skills, which you've worked 10, 15 years to perfect, and get started on Icon? So I think that it'll be smart to really push the Java smart contracts as a marketing point in the coming months.
That's no, thank you. It's good to hear, and that's a good call out as well. And just what a great call out, Brian. As we have Elise, head of marketing, joining us. Elise, how are you? Oh, I've let you join, but you got to speak up.
She's busy marketing.
Oh,
She's marketing as we speak.
audio issues, yes. Okay. Well, while she fixes that, we'll come back to her. We have so next up, the Ethereum. Ben's just finding this all very amusing. The Ethereum Pig Punk is a giveaway. So this is a simple question. First one to get it is who, again, the name, just their first name, is the creator of Pig Punks. First one in the chat wins. Hey, Elise.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Hi. Okay, I guess I can't my video, but I'm like a mess. Happy 100th anniversary episode for Ion Icon. Thank you so much for everything that you do, system.
No. We love what we do. Yes. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
All right.
Are you at
Let me
Starbucks? Oh,
there we
Can
go.
you still hear me?
Yes.
yeah.
Awesome. All right. Okay. No, I was like in the middle of running some errands, but I wanted to stop by and say
Yeah, no, we appreciate it. Thank you, Elise. So, Elise, while I have you, I put Brian on the spot, so we've got to put you on the spot. How long now have you been with the foundation, and how have you found your time at Icon?
So I think I'm just getting to the 7th and 8th, being at the foundation, and there's just tremendous amount of progress since I've been here. Launch of Icon 2.0. There's the Icon's bridging solution coming up as well. There'll be more information very soon. So we have more ISIS launch, new website launch for that. We have a new Icon landing page in the works in the background. Hopefully the community has been of more transparent communications to develop progress and just everything that's going on in the ecosystem. But yeah, it's just the team has doubled since I joined, and there's just so much progress. I'm really excited future of Icon.
Thanks, Elise. Appreciate that. Really appreciate this. This news on the team has doubled. We must bring that to the forefront to the community, highlighting who all have been onboarded and what they're doing, just so that everyone sees progress. That'll be cool to do. So
just when
I think,
people join, there's some.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, there must be.
Yep. Okay. So we have a winner for the Pig Punks. I'll have to trace back. Donnie, I don't know if you have the second to just quickly go through up and see who said it first. I'm not fussed if it was misspelt. There was a bit of lag, Elise, so I just have jumped in. One of the final things I thought, since we have a panel here, Iconographer, did we talk about what was the biggest surprise? We haven't really tackled that, have we? We've laid down all the other thoughts.
I mentioned it in mine in terms of, basically the pivot that Icon made. So I kind of checked it for me, but I don't know if it necessarily checked off for everyone else.
Okay, Donnie, did you cover off what you felt was the biggest surprise when it came to Icon?
I mean, to be honest, right now my biggest surprise is that I feel like the Icon ecosystem is growing at a rapid pace and it's all being brought by NFTs. To be honest, there's countless new projects being built. So there's a lot of excitement in the place, and I didn't think it was going to come from that direction, if you will, from like craft, and I was at the beginning. I was a very NFT skeptic, but then you know, I did own some pieces on Super Rare, and then I aped into Gangster Bet, and then ever since then, watching the ecosystem grow, the NFT ecosystem grow on Icon it was very surprising to me. For us to be third behind OpenSea and Looks Rare, I mean, it doesn't get better than that, you know.
Yep, sorry, my audio was muted. I realized I haven't sent Ben an invite, and he's been waiting there patiently. But I agree. I think Craft is a great example of how a protocol has exploded for all the right reasons. But okay, just before you go, Icongraph has to jump off soon. I mean, we usually just run these things for an hour, and we're an hour 20, so we will wrap up soon. But before I keep going, Icongrapher, thanks again. Happy 100th show. I think while you're here, one thing to note, Icongrapher is putting together a small collection of 5 exclusive NFTs that once the show's done, we'll take a recording sample and put it onto this NFT, which is the part of the 100th episode edition. I think we've landed on 5 that we'll put up on Craft. Speaking of NFTs, and so people can buy it. So really appreciate Icongrapher you creating that stuff. But as being on the show and everyone's heard the tale, yeah, really appreciate all the time we spend doing this, and hopefully we get to 200 from here.
Yep. And sorry I have to hop off early, but other real life stuff calls. But yeah, I'm glad we were able to make it this far, and yeah, look forward to the next 100.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so Ben, there we go. I promised him he could come on. Oh, look at this, all sorts. Thanks for the dedication, man. I know. I've been there once before. I remember.
Hello.
Hey, okay, so just having
Hello.
people who want to come on.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I'll drop off
Here.
so that other people can come on.
No, you're free to stay on. This is all we're having. Oh, there we go, 120. Look, I just wanted to say from the surprising part, I think one thing that has really been surprising for me, and it shouldn't have been, is the engagement protocols are getting. I think there's few of us that realize this, but like when you see Balanced and Ohm and things where votes are put up, and you got 600 to 1,000 people voting per governance changes, etc. That's huge. Like you can see these other chains that have a bigger user base, no doubt, and they don't even get half or quarter the votes when their protocols are going. So for me, that really shows engaged community. So, and it's probably why personally I've seen a lot of success in Icon, because making content relating to Icon, the entire community rallies behind and appreciates. So, I would call that out as one of the biggest surprises. Personally, I thought, yeah, but amongst other things, but that was a big highlight for me. Okay, what do we got here? Ben, welcome.
Thank you.
So, I as I had thought, I haven't gone through all the NFTs. Typical. I get carried away and just talking. So, as promised, any of the donated ones that are left over, I will move to Crafter's Corner. While you're here, do you want to give a bit of a? Do you want to talk about Crafter's Corner? When's the next show?
Yeah.
What do you got lined up?
So Crafter's Corner is something that I founded that I thought the community needed. I think it was pretty much inspired by like Ion Icon and how Ion Icon covers like Icon news. I wanted something not to cover exactly the news, but to, I guess, engage with the community. So Crafter's Corner is basically a place where creators can come on, introduce their project, talk to creators that maybe have more experience on this platform. So it's a really like good place for new creators to like hop in and try and like have a easier foot in the door. Because I know when I came onto this platform, it was kind of difficult for me to, like really get into the community. And I wanted to create something that will make it easier for future creators to come in and um, have a easier time in their in craft. So we do have our next AMA coming up on February the 26th, I believe at 9 a.m. UTC, which is my 4 a.m. So I'll be trying your techniques, Fez. um, so yeah, so if you're a new creator, you can hop into the AMA, introduce yourself to the community, and we also have a Discord, which is in our bio on Crafters Corner on Twitter. And the Discord, basically, if you're a new creator and you don't want to create your own Discord, Discord they're just really hard to build up a community, and it's Crafters Corner. Basically, you'll have your own channel and then kind of like soak in the entire community's like value or something. So yeah. That's...
Yeah, no, look, I've definitely seen you slaving away. Appreciate everything you're doing in the ecosystem. Yeah, and I just like 2 Discords. How you doing it? I have no idea. But
I don't sleep well.
I know every time I message you, you're kind of you're there. I don't know when you sleep. But
yes.
Thank you. Okay, look, see, there are people already going off, and Bearish Bull, he's just realized that the show, and you've basically won a fan for life now. So good work getting on here and giving it a plug. But overall, I think it's brilliant. I think there's so much happening. Crafters getting noticed, Icons getting noticed because of it, and what a great idea to have all the artists who may not have that skill set as well in terms of promoting their content or actually creating the Discord and community and stuff, and you've just enabled that, which is fantastic. In fact, I've got Pig Punks. I've gone and set it up for my son in there as well, and because although he's not allowed on social media, but it's me. He just gives me the pigs, and then I manage that component for him. But I just think it's brilliant. So great work, man. Really appreciate it. And thank you for doing the donation, the Tamashi donation. That was just fantastic. I know it was Kevin, wasn't it? Kevin will be over the moon about it. Did I see someone posting? I hope Kevin is in Weedsman. Cause...
Yeah, Kevin owns like 4 Tamashi already.
Oh, does he? Oh,
yeah. He's a pretty big shiller. So shout out to Kevin.
Okay. Well, congrats, Kevin. Oh, damn.
Yeah. I'm still trying to get my first. Man, I missed out on my opportunity when I won the lottery. I missed it by a second or two.
Oh yes, the lottery. My God, that was one tense morning. Seriously, I was meant to share that tale on here, but we'll save it for another episode. Look, I think, Donnie, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? I feel like we're an hour 30 in, so that's the show. That's the 100th episode.
I think we've been speaking for long enough. I mean, the last thing is that apparently there's an overflow of projects waiting for funding in the CPS. What's not to be bullish on that? And I'm excited to be part of the community.
Yes. Is there an overflow? That's brilliant. I know we've been churning through CPS funds, which is fantastic. It's good to see.
Okay. TJ just put out a Twitter thread explaining that there might be like whitelisting and prioritization for certain projects out there. So I guess there's a backlog.
Oh, wow. Cool. Okay. Great news. There you go. This on the 100th episode. I knew we'd have that effect today. Great to see.
Awesome.
Ben, anything else you want to share with the community? Any alpha? I know I can crack you just a few more times if I ask.
Yeah. So we had like, we're doing a new drop method, so I might be dropping what they look like in the Discord over the next few days. But I definitely want to have you two on the AMA and on the 26th. I think, just more any shilling, I'm the community shiller, so
Yeah. I'll
Yes,
be there.
I'll be happy to help.
Brian, any closing words?
Nah.
Oh,
Closing
too
words
good.
are sad.
Sorry?
Closing words are sad.
Okay. So we won't. We'll just cut the stream like the El Sopranos ending, just
Yeah.
midstream. No. Okay. Look, thanks everyone for tuning in. When the badges, no, that's drop behind those badges. Ben, that's to do with you. I think anyone has Tamashi questions, make sure you're in the Tamashi Discord. And well, yeah, Ben doesn't sleep. He's literally in there answering everyone constantly. So you'll get your answers there. But thank you everyone for tuning in. I know we had a small audience, but they're definitely the dedicated iconists out there that tune in. So really appreciate, and hopefully, sorry I didn't get through all the gifts, but I think whatever's left, then they'll come across to Crafter's Corner, so then you can dish them out during the next AMA. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share. Remember, not financial advice. Definitely not financial advice. You've heard our stories. I mean, I did say I'm going to buy all those coins, all the shit coins we've all bought in the past, just as an experiment. But yeah, so definitely not financial advice.
All right, man. Everyone have a good night.
Take care, everyone.
Later.
Bye.
bye.